The KFBK Morning News is on now with Kelly Brothers and Amy Lewis on News Talk 1530 KFBK.
8:41 now at KFBK. While most attention in the Sacramento area this election season has been focused on measures Q and R, there's another measure that could have, actually three measures, that could have a big effect on both Yolo and Sacramento counties. Measures H and I for Yolo and Measure L for Sacramento County allows for the annex of SMUD services for West Sacramento, Davis, and Woodland.
Joining us now to talk more about the measure, one of its biggest supporters, West Sacramento Mayor Christopher Cabaldon. Mayor Cabaldon, thanks for joining us this morning on KFBK.
Good morning, Kelly. Good morning, Amy.
For folks who have just allowed themselves to be glazed over by the whole thing and don't know, but they're going to have to vote next Tuesday, give me the absolute thumbnail everyman speech as to what this is.
Those of us in Yolo County and West Sac, Woodland, and Davis want to have SMUD's low rates and reliable service. And so the annexation will allow us to get those low rates from nonprofit SMUD and save SMUD ratepayers probably hundreds of millions of dollars over the long run as we spread costs over a larger customer base.
Okay, so why is this problematic then? Why isn't it going to happen?
Well, PG&E, who serves us today as a monopoly for-profit provider, is spending upwards of $20 million to confuse ratepayers on both sides of the river because they want to protect their monopoly and they want to keep us from getting SMUD's lower rates.
And for those of us in Sacramento, would it result in an increase in our rates, especially in the short term as they build out the infrastructure?
No, under Measure L, Measure H, and Measure I, Yolo customers bear the full cost of getting SMUD services. And you know how we do that? We do it by only saving a couple of percent a year for the first few years, and then after that, 30 or 40 or 50%. Last time we did this, when SMUD annexed Folsom, SMUD customers saved $363 million. So in the long run, it's a good economic benefit for everyone, and in the short run, it's going to be a real boost for the region.
Well, we here at KFBK have talked about the measures in our coverage of election news and ballot initiatives and things like that, but it hasn't been really hitting the airwaves a lot lately. Do you think it's going to be easily passed?
No, this is going to be a close election because even though everyone who's spoken out on it, every independent study from Sac State, the universities, the Sacramento Bees endorsed it, the Chamber, everybody's been supporting it except for PG&E, but that PG&E's got $20 million to campaign against it. So we expect this to be a very, very close race because there's a lot of misinformation out there and skepticism being promoted by PG&E.
So again, this would be Davis, Woodland, those would be the areas that SMUD would move in and take over the providing of service there. Is that right?
And West Sacramento.
And West Sacramento, of course,
right.
Yeah. Because you're the mayor there. Mayor Cabaldon, we greatly appreciate your time this morning. Before we let you go, real quickly, I know there was a big meeting last night regarding levies.
That's right. Yeah, we're trying to get ahead of the game here. You know, all of us have been concerned about all the changing federal regulations. We've decided just to put our own local money into updating our levy services. So we just approved several $million last night to test all of our levies to determine the level of flood protection and put ourselves first in line for the state and federal dollars for the upgrades.
Hey, we have just about 30 more seconds, so I want to ask you one final question about these measures. What happens if Sacramento passes it, but Davis or West Sac or Woodland doesn't, that is?
We have to pass it together. It has to pass in Yolo County as a whole, and it has to pass in Sacramento County as a whole separately.
So if it doesn't pass in one area, it's a done deal.
That's right.
You need all yeses.
We got to do it together.
All right. West Sac Mayor Christopher Cabaldon. Mayor, we appreciate your time. We should let you know that tomorrow in the 8 o'clock hour, we're going to be joined by a representative for the no on measures H, I, and L, and that would be their spokesperson, Stan Atkinson.